Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Ah, Krishna. Wow. Just trying to recuperate here from. Hey, Haribo. Hey, Madhu. I'm just trying to recuperate from the Gaura Purnima festival. Hare Krishna. Oh, man. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here, and it's like, oh, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, just so many devotees all in one place chanting Hare Krishna. Everyone's different. Everyone is completely different. So, amazing. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, whoa. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. What a trip. What a trip, man. Oh, God. It's like devotee overload, you know. It's like, wow. You know, they have information overload. It's like devotee overload. And then throw all the prasadam in there, and oh boy, it's all rich foods that, you know, it's going to take a week to process having eaten all of that. Ah, Krishna. Krishna. It's like being in spiritual distress, you know. Material distress, well, there's spiritual distress. Oh, Krishna. Oh, man. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, whew. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare. Oh, man. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I was sitting in the back of the temple. You know, they have virus restrictions. So for the kirtan, in order to be able, for the government to allow, you know, that many people to congregate in one place, they have to be X's marked on the floor 6 feet apart. So with some kind of tape. So I have all these X's, and the boys have to stand on the X's. Otherwise, the government will come and shut the building down. So I was sitting on, they have like these pews that go all around the sides and along the back. It's like for the old people, you know, me. And so I was sitting in the back on one of those benches while they're doing some kirtans. And Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And there was one other woman sitting next to me, and we were right near the door. And she was handing out cards to people as they were coming in and going out. She's handing out cards. Indian lady. Americanized Indian lady. And I said, "What are you handing out?" And she looked at me like, she didn't want to give me one of the cards. I said, what is it? She's a used car salesperson, and she was handing out cars with her number, and if you want a car, contact me at Gaura Purnima. I'm like, oh, yeah. So anyway, he's a devotee, but like, okay. So there were a lot of devotees there, Hare Krishna, and that woman was there, and she's a devotee, but you know what I mean? Krishna. And the temple president was also right by the door, so this woman had to be careful not to hand the card out so the temple president wouldn't see, because the temple president would stop, you know. Oh, jeez. Hare Krishna, Krishna. So there were a lot of devotees there, and they were all of different. They were all different. That was just one, and that was her consciousness. Oh, man. Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. The speaker, after some of the kirtans, one of the older Prabhupada disciples spoke, and it was very nice, actually. He was talking about the chanting and tasting the chanting, and that it's all about the holy name. Everything is about the holy name. And he was speaking very, very nicely on the subject, because you could understand that he was relishing glorifying Krishna, and he had some taste for Krishna, otherwise he couldn't speak like that. So one solution he gave for, he said, if somebody is having difficulty chanting and there's no taste for them, is to find someone who has taste and chant with them. He didn't elaborate on that very much. He just sort of mentioned it in passing, but that really is significant, because you don't get it on your own. Krishna makes the arrangements. He sends, he arranges for you to come in contact with someone who actually has taste for the chanting. And because they have taste, then you kind of, it's infectious. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. He only briefly touched on that. But that's probably the most significant point to be made for someone who doesn't have taste, who would like to have taste. Hare Krishna, or has taste but wants more taste. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, it's by association. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So there's one devotee that wouldn't go. They wouldn't go to this because they're not doing anything the right way. They're not doing it the right way. And they pull up some quote from Prabhupada 60 years ago, how Prabhupada suggested the devotee celebrate Gaura Purnima at that time. And it was a little different than what they did yesterday. They kind of treated it like it was Janmashtami. And in Prabhupada's letter to one devotee, he said that it should be an Ekadasi feast, very simple, at moonrise, and then the next day a big feast, which the kind of preaching that's going on here wouldn't work, because they're not going to come for 2 days. And so it just kind of went into like a big Janmashtami Sunday festival kind of celebration. So they were very, very upset about it. and they wouldn't even go. They wouldn't take prasadam, nothing, because they're not following. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. But how are they not following? They're chanting Hare Krishna and they're taking prasadam. How is that not following? Isn't that what these appearance days and festivals are all about? Is that people are attracted. It's great preaching. For what? For chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam. So I'm still recuperating from coming in contact with all these different types of devotees. The used car salesman sitting by the door at the temple. The one that won't go because they're not following. There's all kinds of devotees there. Oh, Lord. But at least the speaker, he did speak nicely. Not that many people were listening when he started to speak. A lot of people kind of like got restless and time for prasadam, they went out. But he did speak nicely. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. And of course the deities were smothered in flowers with all kinds of lighting on them and decorated with all kinds of markings. Oh, the mantras. Oh, they did a fire yagna. Yeah. Oh, mantras. But if there's chanting Hare Krishna and there's taking prasadam, then where's the fault? Hare Krishna, there is none. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You don't think Prabhupada's pleased? If large numbers of people are coming together chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam, and hearing about Krishna, hearing the philosophy, seeing the deity. Hare Krishna, Hare. Oh, but they're not doing it this way. It should be this way. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Oh my devotees, they're all absorbed in their different moods and their different what makes them tick in Krishna consciousness. It's incredible. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Well, I have to recuperate from this one. Oh. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Why do I take everything in? I take everything in, Oh, jeez, I guess I don't want to miss anything. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so many children, and young people. This is really, really wonderful. Like second generation devotees that are now in their 40s and 50s and have children of their own. It's like second, third generations. Hare Krishna, Krishna. And the second generation, they have so much taste for chanting. And they have this their own sort of mood that when they do these kirtans. It's a very sweet mood, these kirtans. They gradually build into like these waves and crescendos. It's not just, jumping up and down insanely, where's Krishna? It's like you're sitting in the boat, that nice picture of Krishna and the gopis in the boat. When they're chanting, it's kind of like that. You're in the boat. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and it builds and builds to a crescendo. And they're musical and they're talented with mridanga, they're talented with harmonium and flute playing. And it's quite a movement. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Ah, Krishna. So many different personalities, all in one place. Ah, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. This is Lord Chaitanya. This is Lord Chaitanya. They've come from all over the universe, all different planets. They've come from beyond the material universe to take part in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. They're coming from everywhere. And those that are in lower states, they're being elevated. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. It's Chaitanya. Oh my God. It was like a little sample of it yesterday. It's like, what a mix. You know, you got, oh wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Oh, wow. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So the used car salesman is sitting next to me in the temple. She's staying with some people that she says she can't really, she doesn't want to stay with them much longer because they're really crazy. They're devotees, but they're really crazy. So all I could say to her was, I said, everyone's crazy. She started to laugh. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. It's true, I was reading that, how, somewhere, what was I reading? It was a Krishna book, probably. Or, yeah, probably. Something. Oh, Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it was in a purport. How in the material world, people lavish their affections on temporary things, like a mother is attached to a child, or lovers are attached to each other, but it's based on the bodily identification, material bodily identification. And so it's crazy. But in the spiritual realm also, all these feelings are there. Feelings of parental affection, or lovers, or husband and wife, or friend, buddy, you know. But that's also crazy, because who can be Krishna's mother, or who can be Krishna's father, or, you know, Krishna's the supreme God, you know. So that's also crazy. So everyone is crazy. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So if you're going to be crazy, you might as well be crazy for Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. A devotee apologized to me not too long ago because they were acting quite crazy. They were acting quite crazy toward me. I mean, quite crazy. I mean, really cuckoo. And evidently they had some realization that they were something was not quite right in Krishna consciousness. And when I saw them recently, and they apologized. They said, "Please accept my obeisance." I was so crazy. So I know they were crazy. I know they were crazy. So I just said, that's all right. Crazy for Krishna. So everyone's crazy. Everyone. Except for me, of course. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Oh, Gaura Purnima. Wow. Whoa. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I ended up with like 5 plates of prasadam. And I didn't, oh man. Because everybody was giving everybody else prasadam. So, one devotee came over after, everything was all over and I'm at home here. They drove up and they said, I want to give you prasadam. So they came with another plate. And then the used car salesman, she left the temple room and came back with 3 plates. Here, this is for you. Because everyone was giving everyone prasadam. I ended up with a lot of prasadam and I can hardly eat any of it. The food is so rich. I forced myself. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So, I bumped into, or I came, because there was this huge assembly of all these devotees that I don't usually see. You get to see them, And there's one devotee that they like Jesus, but they think they like Krishna too, but they're not sure. But and they kind of like and they go back and forth, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, because they're mental. It's all mental. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I tried to tell them, I said, it's not a mental exercise. Which one do I? It's Krishna is the holy name. You get a taste for Krishna, all of that stuff stops. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, and all there is Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and Krishna is everything. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They're not doing it the right way. I saw that with another devotee. It was they should be doing it the way I think they should be doing it, because I read somewhere on a page somewhere it should be done like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, they're chanting and they're taking prasadam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. What can anybody understand anyway? Can't understand anything. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Even Krishna says, by all the Vedas I am to be known. All the reading, it's to realize what? Krishna! Krishna. Yeah, but they're not doing it the right way. Krishna. It's too funny, really. Hare Krishna, Krishna. I saw that one time there was some chanting going on here at the house, and one devotee didn't like the way they were chanting, so they grabbed the drum away from the person who was chanting, and they handed the drum to me, and they handed kartals to somebody else, and they insisted, "This is the way you chant," and they tried to lead a kirtan. It sounded kind of like the Salvation Army if they could chant, or like sounded like wounded soldiers chanting. This is the way you chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Actually, I remember years ago I did that, like back in the early 80s. He had a friend, a devotee friend. We were living in the temple, and I used to take devotees out to the street to chant in Atlanta. And this devotee is very musical, very talented, much younger than me, really kind of a charismatic, one of those persons that took birth just to take part in the movement kind of thing. So we were in the middle of a big crowd in Atlanta, and she had attracted quite a big crowd. She was sitting down in a public street, sitting down, and it was kind of like a little space there. And she found that space where people were walking, and she found the little she was chanting, and it was quite beautiful, very captivating, and I went crazy. I remember this. I was like, no, that's not the way to chant. No. Because she was chanting that beautiful musical, like you're in the boat with Krishna type chanting. And I got all upset. I said, no. And I started just chanting just like calling out to Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, I remember I did that to someone. I was like crazy. So I've seen people do that. Devotees do that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's very funny, actually. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaura Purnima. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Wow. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Woo! Oh man, it was like a living, changing body exhibit. You had like the itty bitty babies, and then you had the young people, and then you had the teenagers, and then you had the adults full of responsibility, family maintenance, and then you had the renounced types. Yeah, it's a changing body exhibit. And you had like older people, and then you had some really old people. There were sick people there physically. They were sick in different ways. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Krishna. Whoa. All in one place, chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam. But they're not doing it the right way. Oh, come on. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They should do it the way I think they should do it, because I read on some page somewhere from 60 years ago how it should be done. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Chanting Hare Krishna and they're taking prasadam. That in itself is a miracle. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. That is a miracle. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. The Tiger Ranga, the Tiger Ranga, the Tiger Ranga, the Tiger Ranga. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, Lord Chaitanya, his pastimes didn't really take place so much in the temple. He would visit the temple and he would take the prasadam from the Jagannath temple. But his pastimes took place at the homes of the devotees, with different devotees. It didn't take place so much in discussing Krishna, the glories of Krishna amongst the devotees. When he would visit the temple, he would become sometimes quite overwhelmed. He would become quite overwhelmed by the temple experience. Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yeah, this experience of Gaura Purnima kind of it's pretty overwhelming. Because there's so many devotees, all different types, all in one place. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. The devotee hankers more for just the personal relationship with the Lord. But sometimes it becomes obvious how amazing Krishna really is. It's like that situation it's a great place to visit, but you wouldn't want to live there in the middle of all that commotion. And all that excitement and everything going on there. You wouldn't want to live there. It's a nice place to visit, to see Krishna consciousness manifest in a situation like that. But you don't want to live there. You want to be able to come home to Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. More like the Vrindavan mood. You know. Family and friend mood with Krishna. Hare Krishna is like Arjuna, he's on the battlefield, and Krishna reveals an awesome aspect of himself, his universal form, where Arjuna sees everything. He sees all the demigods, he sees past, present, and future, he sees the whole material creation, all the planets. He's like, and he says, okay, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna now. And the cowherd girls. Sometimes Krishna appears before them as Narayan, Vishnu, the maintainer of the universe. Vishnu, with 4 arms. And they offer their obeisances, and then they run off to try to find Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. They offer their respects to the awesome aspect, the overwhelming, all-powerful, inconceivable, aspect of Krishna. Offer their obeisances, respectful. But now where's Krishna? The friend, the lover, the companion, the beautiful child. Where's Krishna? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They want to be under that spell. Hare Krishna, the Yogamaya spell. Hare Krishna, the reservoir of all pleasure spell. They want to be under that jurisdiction. Hare Krishna, that aspect of the Supreme Controller, where the control is love. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Krishna! Oh, Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar. Woo! Gaura Purnima. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Ah, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. I think all these restrictions because of the virus situation, which has limited the devotees in different ways from big gatherings. It's to put some limitations. To have a big gathering like that yesterday, after like more than a year of kind of shutdown, I think that also added to the intensity of the whole thing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. It was a good one. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama 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 Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Ah, Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shiva Sadi Gaura.